Hi, this is Alex Fernandez with Bud and Doug Walters Auto Sales here in Kalamazoo. Today I'll be doing a video going over the primary features inside of this 2017 Buick Enclave Premium. We'll begin by talking about the touchscreen display here, along with the buttons we have along the sides of it and below it. We'll work our way down to the climate control and to some of the switches underneath that. We'll then move over to the steering wheel, some of the buttons we have there, along with our wiper controls, light controls, and then we have some switches here on the door we'll cover, and lastly a couple buttons up above. Coming back to the touchscreen here, this is where you'll interact with your audio, your hands-free phone connection for Bluetooth, your backup camera, your navigation. You'll see we have buttons on either side of the screen here to access some of the different functions. We have our home button here. When we press that, that will access, if we're in a different function, it will bring us back to this main screen where we can see all the apps available in the vehicle. The source button allows us to cycle between AM, FM, and satellite radio. We have our seek buttons here. On the right side we have the repeat function, which would be for a CD or a Bluetooth connected device playing audio to repeat the songs being played. Above that we have the button to access the navigation, which shows us the map display, a button to access the destination entry menu, and then we have a back button to come out of any screen and go to the previously displayed screen. On the screen here, we'll go into the first icon, which is now playing. That will display whatever audio it is that you're listening to, no matter the source. In this case, we're listening to FM radio. We have along the bottom of the screen here favorites for your radio. You can cycle through those with this favorites button up at the top. You'll see there are 3 pages there. You're able to mix and match AM, FM, and satellite stations within this list, so you don't have to switch the source to access those different presets or favorites. We have the menu button here, which gives us access to our favorites list in a little different format. And then we have a station list that will compile a list of stations in the area and display them again in a way we can scroll through. So if you are looking for a particular station, you can find it or see it that way as well. Our source button here again allows us to change between AM, FM, and satellite radio. We have volume and power for the climate control, or for the radio, excuse me, there. And we have our tuning dial off to the right. Going back to the home page, you'll see we have individual icons for AM, FM, and satellite radio, so you're able to choose those that way as well. Along the bottom we have our destination entry for the navigation. You'll see we have a couple different methods of being able to enter an address. We can plug in the particular address. We could also search by points of interest, certain categories, previous destinations. As you compile or enter addresses, those will save those there so you can access them in the future if need be. Address book would allow you to save any addresses that you'll use regularly, and then you can pick from the map. You have creating a trip, and then you can search by latitude and longitude as well. Once you've entered a destination, the vehicle will give you turn-by-turn voice prompts along your route, so you know when to turn and where you'll be turning. Going back to the home page, we have the phone section here. When we press that, that gives us the Bluetooth device list, which is currently empty. There are no phones paired to the system right now. To add a device, simply press pair device there. Once you've paired the device, you'll begin the pairing procedure on the phone. You'll go to your Bluetooth settings to look for the vehicle and add it to the system. Once you've done so, you'll be able to receive your phone calls and make phone calls in the vehicle hands-free, as well as play audio from the device wirelessly. Going back to the home page, we do have tone settings, which are the bass, mid-range, and treble, along with our fade and balance settings for the audio. And lastly, we have our settings page, which gives us some settings pertaining to the hands-free and our navigation system as well. Moving on from that, we have some buttons down below. This row of 4 buttons here controls the screen at the top of the gauge cluster. We're able to cycle through some different information such as trip and fuel economy related info. Using the button on the right side here, that's just a touch sensitive button. When we press that, you'll see that we cycle through trip A and trip B, range, average fuel economy, a timer, amount of fuel used, average speed, and back to the odometer. The second button here cycles through tire pressures for all 4 tires, and then if we had to change the compass or recalibrate the compass. We also have oil life, our park assist settings, our rear cross traffic alert, and our blind zone monitor system. If you wanted to turn any of those off, or if any of them had been turned off, you can turn them back on through that setting, through that menu. The third button here allows us to access vehicle settings such as our door locks, our remote start, lighting settings, things like that. To change any of those functions, we use the check mark to select it and then cycle through them to decide what you'd like to change. Hazards are in the middle, and then we also have our lane departure warning and our forward collision alert function there. So if you're drifting out of your lane, that lane departure warning system would alert you by flashing some lights or giving you an audible tone just to get your attention, and then the forward collision alert would do the same thing in the event of a potential crash. Looking down below, you have your climate control settings. We have tri-zone climate control, so we have the driver, the passenger, and we also have rear climate control. Temperature adjustments are simply made by adjusting the dials. This is for the driver, and this side's for the passenger. You'll see they're now different temperatures, 72 and 78. If you want to pair them back up, simply press the sync button. You'll see that appear at the base of the driver's dial, and the 2 zones are now paired back together. We have buttons to decide where the air is being sent to around the middle here, and then we have our fan speed in the middle on this dial. Above that, we have auto mode, which allows you to set the temperature, and it takes over the rest for you. And then when we push rear, you'll see that rear appears in both these dials, so we are now controlling fan speed and temperature for that rear zone as well. Down below, we have our front and rear defroster, along with your recirculate mode and your air conditioning. Looking below that, we have cooled seats in this vehicle for the driver and heated seats for the driver, and then the passenger controls are here. We have your rear wiper. Click the top half for the wiper itself and push the bottom half for the spray. In between, we have the traction control off switch, which is on by default every time you turn on the vehicle. We have our trailer tow mode, if you're ever pulling a trailer. And then we have a switch to open and close the powered tailgate, or to power it off altogether. Below, we have a USB port and a 12-volt power outlet there as well. Looking at the steering wheel, we have controls on the right side for some of our audio and our hands-free functions. We have volume controls on the back of the wheel here. We have these up and down arrows, which will cycle through our presets on the radio. We have the source button to switch between AM, FM, satellite, CD, Bluetooth, etc. We have a seek button here to skip to the next available station. And then in the middle, we have our voice command button that you can use to place a call if you have a hands-free device paired up. Would also answer an incoming call if you're one coming through, and the button here would decline or hang up an active call. Looking at the left side of the wheel, we have our cruise control and our heated steering wheel. The heated steering wheel is this switch here. And our cruise control, we turn it on using this button here. Set the speed with the bottom button. Accelerate with the plus sign, slow down with the minus sign, and then we have cancel and resume there. Looking at the stalk behind the wheel, we have our windshield wipers along with our blinkers and our high beams here. Wipers simply rotate that stalk to increase the speed. click on the end of the stalk, here's a button. Push on that to do the spray for the front wiper. For your blinkers, those function as normal. Brights pull towards you to flash, and push away to turn on. Down on our left side here, we have the switch for the headlights. Headlights are automatic. You'll see them in that position right now. You also have the parking lights and the low beams position if you wanted to turn those on manually. We have here the button for our ambient lighting, which is mounted in the doors. It's kind of hard to see right now with how bright it is, but that you'll see at night. This dial in the middle comes out, and that's to adjust the brightness of the backlighting of the gauges inside. And then we have a switch to turn off the dome lights in the vehicle. Looking at the door, we have our door locks here, our window locks, and then our 4 window switches. We have our power folding mirror function here to close or open those, and then our mirror adjustments and selecting which side and adjusting the mirrors. And then just up above on the door, we have our 2 driver's seat memory presets, along with a 3rd function, which is for the easy exit function if you want the seat to move to a different position when you shut the vehicle off for easier exit or entry. Looking up above, we have controls for the sunroof here. You'll see this vehicle is equipped with the dual panel sunroof. The front piece is going to be the one that actually is able to open and close. The rear piece is fixed. We also have our dome light switches here, along with 3 programmable garage door remote buttons, so you can program your remote to use that instead of using the remote clipped up on your visor. Those are the primary functions of this 2017 Buick Enclave Premium. If you have any further questions, please refer to us at waltersautos.com, or feel free to call 269-375-7008. Thank you. Bye.